Hi everyone, it's Neve here and welcome to the Art Journaling channel. Today we're going to be playing around with ScrapFX, transparencies and collage papers and showing you how I use those products together. So I'm starting off with two of my rice paper collage sheets from ScrapFX. They're printed on rice paper. The print itself is really high quality, so you can see I'm absolutely covering it with gel medium and it's not moving, it's not transferring any of the ink, everything's staying there. So this might look a bit strange, but basically what I'm doing is using the gel medium, and I'm using a matte gel medium to glue my transparency to my image. And what will happen is the gel medium will go clear and I'm left with this beautiful collaged bright colourful image behind my transparencies. So it gives you that sort of stained glass effect, particularly for the alphabet letters. It works really, really well. One of the tricks, you can obviously see the transparencies are reflecting the light here. If you coat the top of the transparency with the matte gel medium as well, that will take away the gloss. It will still stay clear. It won't leave any marks on the transparency, but it will give you a sort of matte finish. Now I am slightly heating up the surface with my heat tool. I suggest you probably just leave it to dry naturally because obviously it's going to bend and buckle your transparencies a little bit. So now I've got my transparencies with my rice paper on it. One of the bonuses to this is that you can actually trim it down. Well, you can trim the transparencies fairly easily anyway, but because you've got the rice paper in the back, it actually makes it less slippy. So you can actually get a really good cut on your papers and trim them down to exactly what you want. So for these 4 images, these are the new range from August 2020. What I'm going to do is turn them into some really quick cards. I'm also just trimming down my alphabet. I don't actually use this in the project, but I just wanted to show you another way to use the transparencies, and this is ready for me to use on any other of my projects in future. So now I've got my images. I'm just trimming them down a little bit more because I had some bits that were hanging off the side. You will see as I go through this video that you can see more of the image from the background coming through. Very unlike me, actually left these overnight to dry. So I actually put the cards together, but I left them overnight to dry. And when I came back the next day to take photos of them, they're perfectly translucent. You could see all the pattern, all the detail from the rice paper in the background. So don't be concerned that it looks cloudy and think it's not going to dry. It does. It dries clear and it dries fine. So to create my cards, I'm just using some craft card already cut. I'm using some book text, so that's from an old dictionary, and I'm just using this text stamp from Natalie May in Adelaide to just stamp in the background. Now I'm not worried that it's not stamped perfectly because I know that middle section is going to be covered up. So I'm just adding the torn text on either side just to frame my image somewhat. And then I'm gluing down my transparency in the middle. You can use any glue to do this. I'm just using basically a PVA glue in a fine container, and that sticks it down perfectly. You could use gel medium if you wanted to. Totally up to you what you choose to use. So the same process for all 4 images, going through, gluing down the book text, making the border, gluing it down, stamping my cards out and assembling my pieces together. I find when I'm making cards, I like to work in an assembly manner. I've got all my stuff out anyway, so I might as well make a few cards while I'm doing it. And personally, I find when I'm making cards that if I've got a design that works, I just keep going with it. There might be slight variations. Obviously, there's different images on it, but the overall setup theme of the cards is exactly the same, which helps you create really quickly, I find. With some of the images for this one, I'm finding them slightly bigger, so I'm just trimming off some of the edge. Again, you can get your paper trimmer out. I like having my craft knife to do that. And again, going through and doing the same job as before. If you are using your craft knife, it is always good to have extra blades you could see that my blade was catching on the paper. That just meant that it's starting to get a little bit dull. So always having a good supply of extra blades is really, really handy. The good thing about using the PVA glue like this is it gives you a little bit of, it doesn't adhere immediately, so it does give you a little bit of room to, if you put something in the wrong place, that you can go back and actually fix it up. I like using adhesives that have a little bit of grace time, just so you can move and make sure that everything's in the right place. So this is the final card now, and again you can sort of see it gets quicker and quicker as you go, because you know what you're doing. You don't need to think of the design of the card, it's just put it together. We've done this before and we know what's going to happen here. So I would highly encourage you, if you're not a card maker, to try working in an assembly line as you're doing this. Now these images, obviously I'm using them in a card, but you could use them in anything. Art journal pages, on your scrapbook pages, and use the same technique of putting the gel medium underneath and adding the collage tissues to the background to make them really interesting. So here are the semi-finished cards. I actually end up using some phrases from the mini Funky Folk set, which I think is, it is Michelle Logan's set of really funky folk, and it's been reduced down to A5 side, which is perfect for cards. So I'm just going through and finding some of the great phrases that come with those images. I've already cut them out and have them sitting next to me, and they're just perfect to glue onto as sentiments onto cards. Now again, as I said before, if you want to get rid of the shine, you could certainly give your card a coat of matte gel medium over the top, and that will take away that shine and make everything sort of look like it's sort of seamless on the page. It would also help adhere everything to the page as well. So this is a close-up of the end of the alphabet. Couldn't remember what it was. And here's a close-up of the cards. You can see now that they're dry, that those faces are totally translucent, and you can see all the texture coming through from the collage paper in the background. So it's just a fantastic way to use transparencies. I know when I first got the transparencies, I sort of thought, how am I going to use these? How do I adhere them down? I was really unsure of what to do with them. And using them like this has just opened up a whole heap of different possibilities for me. Thank you so much for watching. Find all the details for Scrap FX below to purchase these products. And until next time, bye for now.